But how long have you been saying that?
Well, I did stop for 4 years, and then honestly, I stopped again, and then we went back to Afghanistan and Iraq again before Christmas, and I couldn't stand it. So the only thing that brings me pure joy is cigarettes.
This is Kathleen Madigan in my garage. I'm not going to call you a legend because I don't like to be called that.
No, that would be creepy, right?
Well, no, some people say that legend, Marc Maron. Legends are dead.
Right, or very old and they don't even know they're being called one.
Right, or it's like, where's he been?
Yeah,
you know.
What are you doing if you're a legend? What? Yeah, no, legend's not good either.
Can I say the hardest working comic in show business?
That I'll take, yes, that I'll take. I do. I have 23 years. Like, I had a mental breakdown this week in the airport.
Which airport?
O'Hare. I was supposed to be going to D.C. to do the Birchmere, and it turned into a 25-hour travel day because of snow, and I just needed 15 minutes to cry. Then I regrouped.
Where'd you cry? Did you go to a bathroom? Did you hide your tears?
Right in O'Hare. I just sat down in a chair and thought, right now I need a timeout. I need to put myself in timeout before I get on this BlackBerry again and find another flight and call American and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, any concerned people come up and go,
no one cares. Everybody's like, stay away from the crying lady. She's gone crazy. And they should, because I've been doing this 23 years, and this is it. I need a tour bus. I need to live on the East Coast. This is ridiculous.
Oh, that was.
Why can't my dad just drive me around in a van? I mean, I came up with so many alternatives to flying.
Why can't my dad just drive me around in a van?
I really thought about it. I thought, he's retired. They live in St. Louis. He's got nothing else to do. I buy a big giant RV.
Could you handle that?
I sleep in the back. Yes, my dad's totally fun. Throw my mom in the front seat. They can go gamble. They'll find the casino.
It'd just be like when you were a kid.
Yes.
We're going to go on a trip.
It'd be like the first 10 years of comedy, but I have drivers.
Oh, your
instead
parents.
Of me driving myself.
I could not imagine being in a car with my parents at this age.
I laugh my ass off.
Really?
Seriously, they're seriously funny. They don't mean to be. They just are.
So you can just laugh right at them and they don't mind?
Right in their face. I call them out on all of it. They don't care.
So you started smoking again in Afghanistan.
Yeah, and then one guy had the nerve on a forward operating base to go, ma'am, mind you, there's no toilets, there's no showers, there's no sinks to wash your teeth. Yeah. It's just tents. He goes, ma'am, this isn't the smoking area. Really?
Afghanistan isn't?
Really? Why don't you look at the ground? This whole country is an ashtray, sir. I haven't seen a floor in 13 days. I don't think it matters where the hell I smoke in this shithole. I think I can just smoke.
You do a lot of those, right?
I've done two. And that,
just two?
I think, yeah, but I mean, I've done stuff at home, but over there, too.
And what's your experience like? Because I've only talked to a couple of comics that do it, and I've not obviously been asked to do it. I don't know that I'm the right comic for that job.
You know what? You would be. Yeah. Because Lewis goes, and we don't really...
Lewis Black, did you go with him?
Yeah, and Robin Williams went this year, the year before, John Bowman. I think comic-wise, it was me, Lou, and John. And then they always throw a country singer in there. And
sure.
I mean, they're so happy to see you. They're the best crowds. I mean, no crowd at home will ever seem this as good as those people who are standing in the cold for 2 hours to wait for what's going to be a 3-hour show plus, freezing their asses off. But I don't know that I could do it again. Did you
have any emotional reaction to the situation? I mean, did you get a sense of what they were up against or how they were feeling?
Yeah, well, they're very upbeat. Like at that Marine base where there's no toilets, no showers. I'm not kidding. You go to the bathroom in the bag, throw the bag on a pile. They set that on fire. That's the bathroom, right?
Really?
And I said, God, this is awful. And one of the 20-something guys was like, ma'am, it's not that bad. I'm like, where were you raised? Like in a well? This is horrible.
We do this at home. We put shit in a bag and throw it on the pile. Where are you from?
Like, are you just putting on a front to seem... But they're very gung-ho. I think a lot of them think that it's, there's no winning. You know, like one of the bases there were...
it's just a job.
It's a job. It's a gig, and you try to do what you can. They do it well. I mean, they do everything they can, but there were I'm from St. Louis originally, and there was this contingent of 300 Missouri National Guard people in Afghanistan, and they had their own little barracks that said the Show Me State. And I was like, oh, what's going on over here? And they go, well, our job is to teach the locals how to farm. We're trying to, because my Missouri people are farmer critter people, right?
Yeah.
And I go, he goes, you got to teach them irrigation and how to grow short corn. And I go, are they interested? And they're like, not really.
No,
they just kind of stare at us.
They've been growing opium for centuries.
We make a lot more money on the poppy, sir. We don't really care about your corn that's going to get me, $1 an ear if I'm lucky. Like, no, they're completely disinterested. But he goes, we go out and try every day and we do what we can and maybe something will resonate.
Accept their limitations and just do their gig.
Yeah, it's just a gig for them.
Did you get out and see Afghanistan at all?
Overhead in Blackhawks, and then we drove through the city of Kabul, which makes Tijuana look like Vegas. I mean, it's a fifth world. What if you would say, parts of Mexico are a third world? Not even. This is a fifth world.
Are they under Sharia law too? I mean, so it's not even as interesting on a sordid level as Tijuana, I would think. I mean, aren't they not allowed to do just about anything? Isn't it a Muslim country for the most part?
Oh, it is. Yeah, there's no alcohol. There's no all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, we were dying for alcohol. There's no drinks to be found, no matter how hard.
It's weird because you look at Mexico, and Mexico's just like been fucked so hard in certain ways that Tijuana is just this shit fest of like sordid behavior, and it's almost like Afghanistan on some level might have a little more integrity morally on that.
But I think the difference is alcohol. And I'm not even kidding.
Sure.
Like, no joking. I think if we shipped like 17 aircraft carriers full of margaritas over there and told everybody to have a drink and simmer down, everybody relax. How can you relax like when you're in this crazy government state and there's war everywhere and there's just no way you can have a cocktail? I mean, maybe they smoke opium. I don't know what they do to relax and to chill out.
Opium's very relaxing, I hear.
I don't know. I've never smoked it. I'm much too good of a Catholic, well-behaved girl.
You would never have left Afghanistan if you had smoked opium.
Really?
You would have disappeared into the hills and just sat
been
in the
somebody's
hut.
wife in a burqa, just happy as long as I have
What happened to Kathleen Madigan? You mean the legend that became the Afghani opium addict who now lives in Afghanistan?
You mean the least hard-working comedian in show business? She's in a cave in Kabul and loves it.
How does that Catholicism still hold on?
It holds on.
How the fuck does it hold on?
It can't stop. It was 12 years of complete brainwashing.
No, but like I look at the Catholic Church, I talk about it a little bit on stage, like after all that church has been through, and it's fairly public that they are not, on the level.
Right.
They've always been
Absolutely.
a money-making operation and just a cabal of pedophiles.
Yes.
Yet Catholics who are probably lapsed Catholics still have this nostalgia for a mindfuck that doesn't enable them to experience life without guilt and weirdness.
That's correct. That is complete. And I think it's because if you take the church outside of it, one-on-one when you're a kid, you're only dealing with the nun who every day wrote on the board, God, others, yourself, like in that order. So every day you see that in front of your face. And, parentheses, he can see everything.
Right.
Okay, God.
Sure.
So no,
right now he's watching us.
Yes, he knows I'm in Mark's garage.
And
he knows I'm smoking a cigarette.
And he's happy that you still feel shitty about things.
Yes, that's
Look
the
at
way
Kathleen.
they want
She
it.
hasn't left the fold, really.
There's not much like the crazy bad things I've done in my life. Let's not even call them bad. Let's call them off the hook things I've done. I have to call my Jewish friends, and then they talk me off the ledge.
Like what?
I don't know.
Come on, one good example of a panicky call from Kathleen. I just fucked a 22-year-old.
Getting way too drunk on the road, going to Mexico in the middle of the night, like bad things that I shouldn't be doing, especially like at certain ages. Like, I'm like, really? At the time, I'm like, I'm 35 and I did this and I don't know how to get home and what is wrong with me? And then I think, now that I've done this, now bad things are going to happen.
Now, am I wrong in thinking that if a guy did that, it would just be another weekend on the road?
Yes, absolutely. But then I'll call Lewis and he'll be like, you carry that guilt around. There's nothing wrong with what you did. You're an adult. You get to choose what you want to do. And I'm like, yeah, but everything went off the rails because I did that the month before. So this is a ricochet from that.
Oh, so you connect everything together.
Yes, it's all connected.
Connect the dots, and the final puzzle is Kathleen's an asshole. And on top of that is a cross.
I can't. Like, I don't even believe what the Catholic Church believes anymore. But that's not the point. They're two separate issues. Like, I don't believe hell and heaven. I don't think about any of that.
Yeah.
I think about the karma thing, though.
Yeah. You do.
Although I think there's so many people that I think deserve a swift kick in the karma ass, and I never see it occur.
Yeah.
Then I think, well, why is it only happening to me?
Well, I thought that too, but then again, are you God? Are you seeing them all the time? Do you know what they're thinking and what they're doing all the time? Maybe karma is chipping away at them in its own little way.
At some other part of their life, like that we don't see.
Sure, maybe as you're saying, like, how can that person still have all of that inside? There's a little cancerous cell going, just wait. Who the hell knows? You just want it to be more satisfying.
I would like it to be a much larger available piece of information.
I've talked about it before. Like, you want a karma Google alert. You should have a list of people that you think deserve karma return.
Yes.
And then you get a little thing on your computer. It's like, so-and-so has just received their karma.
Because that's a really Catholic thing, too, is like there are a few people really on my shit list, and I've had the opportunity to actively screw with their career, but I haven't done it because I think, no, because God is going to take care of this. The universe will take care of it, and if I meddle in it, then I'm just going to mess up the plan. But I never see the plan come true.
But wait a minute. So you think God is somehow there to execute your vendettas?
Yes. Yeah. Well, not God. I would say this one goes to the universe of balance.
Okay. So now we're mixing God with the Buddha thing. That
Right.
But you are the arbiter of who it should and shouldn't receive karma in this way.
Yes.
So you're stepping in for God, which God has a problem with, and maybe your karma is that they will never receive their karma.
That's why I don't do it. That's why I don't step in. Like, when I actively have a chance to really, really do something bad, I begrudgingly pass. And I go, you know what?
I don't want names of who the people are, but what is like a bad thing that you have fantasized about doing?
Well, totally blocking someone from a job that I know I know that if I put a call in, that person wouldn't be hired. Right. But then I think, nah, leave it alone. You know, now you're getting too involved, and it's. I hate it though when people go, it's just a waste of energy to be angry. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's a natural reaction, and if you bottle it up the Irish Catholic way, you just become a full-blown alcoholic by 50 instead of a functioning alcoholic by 50.
But what we learned though, what I learned though with the anger thing is that because and I just started thinking about this recently because like I get sometimes I'll get something on the internet, somebody will send me something or someone will tweet something like, who the fuck is that guy in his little world with a very small life sitting at home saying shitty things about me and it hurts my feelings, which is retarded, but it does. I got feelings. But then I started to really think about our lives. Like, I've lived in 4 cities. I've been a touring comedian somewhat, not as much as you, but I tour for years and years. Can you even think about, as an angry person, just how many lives you have rippled somehow? I mean, you seem to be
in a good way or a bad way.
Well, I'm thinking bad, of course, but because I thought that's sort of what we were talking about. But you seem a little too guilty to be that bad.
Yeah. But no, I wouldn't.
But I think like just out of like even just little anger, that in terms of the energy that we put into being angry, just exuding that shit, to somebody that doesn't deserve it. Like, you can create a memorable experience where they walk away going, that guy's a fucking douchebag, and then you're a douchebag for the rest of their life in their mind.
Right, forever.
Yeah, and I put that out there, and some people forever hold grudges. What about forgiveness, Madigan?
That doesn't come into play. That's the problem. And then the anger, even like, I got something on YouTube. I don't know, but I guess I have a YouTube channel. Some lady does all that. Some guy who's what do you call it? His screen name was Gun Down Liberals, and then it said something fucking cunt die shit die. Right?
Very eloquent, these guys usually.
Totally.
And probably something was misspelled.
But, I don't know. I'm such a terrible speller. It probably got by me. But I sat around and I thought, what kind of psycho? First of all, your thing is gun down liberals. But even what's so crazy is I'm who you're talking to. Have you already gone through Louis Black, Bill Maher? I mean, politically, I'm not even that vocal. And the politics I do are even-handed. I'm not a big fan of either team. Yeah. Like, I mean, I didn't want the Tea Party.
I think that's where the woman thing comes into play. That
they won't attack. But, I mean, do you understand how many comedians he had to go through to yell at before he got to me?
I think they're fundamentally those type of people. And also just, I talked to Garofalo, who is very, politically.
Right. She probably gets 5 million of them.
But a lot of them hate her because she's a her. I mean, it's half and half. I think that for some reason in their minds, the fact that someone's a liberal is one thing. But the fact that there's a woman who is even talking that much, I think bothers them.
That might. I mean, most of my people, even their screen names show you the level of the people who like me. It's like, retard monkey 66 thinks you're hilarious. Well, of course he does, because he's retard monkey 66. But it's all happy. It's all pleasant. Right. It's not like, I don't like the confrontation. I don't want to fight with people. I don't like to rile people up. Like, no, I just want you to laugh.
So where's all this anger you're talking about?
Well, it's the bottled up things about usually work. Yeah, it's not usually the fans.
Are you passive? But do you ever yell, or are you passive aggressive? What do you do?
I'm never passive aggressive. No, I'm Irish Catholic. I get really angry and then I just drink till I forget about it. You just sit down and have another drink. There's no expressing your feelings. No.
But what does somebody do to piss you off like that, to where you would think about denying someone work? Does someone steal from you? Do you? I mean,
stealing from me. Well, there was a particular manager that I won't name that really hijacked a lot of stuff that I've had to unravel. It's taken me years. It's taken me a lot of money, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it had to do with the, CDs and DVDs. So you got to get out of this deal and get into another deal. And then I become like a mini version of Prince. And I want to put a tattoo of a tear, a comedy tear.
Just Kathleen.
And I'm like, no wonder Prince was so mad. This is bullshit. And I'm just a dumbass comic. Like he probably lost bazillions of dollars. Like I got 12 people in Omaha looking forward to this CD. And my mom promised her doctor one. And now I can't make one. I mean, my problems are so minimal.
Isn't it weird how we can make them global?
A couple comics that I just think have behaved in really appalling ways that I would like to see really, really crash and burn.
Yeah, and they haven't yet?
No. Well, a couple are the stars are fading. Yes.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Well,
the ticket sales are going down.
That's what happens.
Well, the faster you rise, the faster you fall. I do believe that, and I don't even think that's karma. I just think that's work put in.
But also you're an interesting in terms of your career, that there's only a few of the people that maintain a career as well as you have. That people that may not be huge household names, but like people like you, Brian Regan, Gaffigan, that people that can fill small theaters or larger theaters and have continued working for 10 or 15, 20 years. I mean, that's something that's great.
That's because I swear to God, there's that group, like, because Lou has that comedy cruise where he's like, we need somebody at your level that will say yes, blah, blah, blah. And it's like there's this group of us, Bill Burr, I would throw into that group. There's only like 10 of us that are running around doing theaters right now on a consistent basis. But the one thing in common, I mean, yeah, everybody's funny, but nobody ever quit. Nobody ever took a side job writing for 2 years.
Right.
And I'm not saying that's bad.
Right.
But if you do that, the odds are you're going to fall out of the loop somehow, and it's hard to get back in the loop.
I did radio for a year and a half, and I wasn't even that big of a touring act before that, and it sort of like shut the shit down.
It does.
I also had no idea that you had to be nice to, waitresses and club owners. And,
that's kind of part of it.
I always thought like it's me time. I can do as much time as I want. I don't have to be nice to you people. I had no idea that it was a separate business.
And I am the polar opposite. I am so Midwest Union. How much time does it say on the contract I'm doing? 45 minutes. I do 44.59.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, to me.
When I was told I had to do 45 minutes the other day, I'm like, that's it? I was thrilled because in my mind, like headlining is like I'll do 50 at the least, right? In an hour if I can, and I'll probably do an hour 15. And they're like, you just have to do 45, and I actually felt bad about it.
See, I would never do more than I'm getting paid for. That's where the union Midwestie comes in, though. We made a deal, motherfucker, and why would I talk one more minute if you're not paying me for one more minute?
Do you come from a union family?
Yeah, well, all pipe fitter people, like
really?
Clocking in people, Flintstone, yeah.
Sure, but the union.
You do the job you get paid for, and then you go home. And then on top of that, the polar opposite of you, I'm the lady that wants to drink with the staff because I'm bored.
Yeah.
I'm like, nobody's staying for beers?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I want to talk to you guys.
Oh, no, I used to be that
What's
guy.
going on in Nashville?
I will definitely drink with the staff. But yeah.
Well, that's being nice to them.
Well, I don't drink anymore. I think I've become somewhat aloof in the sense that, like, I don't really drink. And at the end, like, I've become very nice. I don't do that shit anymore. I'm not an asshole. But
okay.
but usually like at the bar afterwards, if the wait staff is, I'll be like, thanks. Was I funny? Okay, bye.
Well, that's enough. I mean, I don't think you. I don't think you have to be me and be the last one at Zany's at 3 in the morning.
Yeah, it's better to leave pleasant and needy than shit faced and needy. I think.
Correct. Yes, it is. But that's the other thing too. I'm just I'm a nicer drunk. Like the more I drink, just the sillier I get. It never turns some weird corner where they're like, oh my God, Kathleen turned into this total bitch at the bar.
Yeah, crazy shit.
It was weird.
Yeah.
Like she didn't seem like that. And then she was like, fuck Zanies.
Yeah, fuck all of you. I can get that way without drinking.
I think because I waited tables too, I do always tip the staff.
You waited tables?
For 10 years, yeah.
Where?
St. Louis.
At a comedy club or in a restaurant?
No, but I was always jealous. Once I got into a comedy club, I was like, are you shitting me? I could have been working here, making $200 in 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I was at some steakhouse, carrying out 15 plates and just slop.
When did you start? How old were you when you started?
23, when I started comedy.
Yeah.
Let me borrow your lighter.
Okay.
It's way over there and I can't reach. I was 23, but I waited tables from 13 to 23.
Yeah.
I mean, I worked in restaurants. I bartended. I did all of it, but the waiting tables was the worst. That's why when I see those servers, I think at the end of the week, only when I started making good money.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't afford to do it, but when I could afford to do it, even if it's $10 a piece and there's 10 of them, it's $100.
Yeah.
Big
yeah,
deal,
yeah,
right?
Right.
And they were so appreciative.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would say that Marc Maron bastard never gave us a nickel. No, I'm kidding.
I tipped the staff. It took me a long time to learn that, too.
I'm kidding. They never said that.
No, I know.
But they do remember who does tip.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, and I don't even drink, but I'll give them $20-$30.
And then if you say, like, you know, well, the next time I'll come back, guys, your check drop was awesome. I didn't hear a word. They remember that.
Yeah.
And then we do the check drop. I mean, now I don't really do clubs anymore, but if I had to go back, which we all will eventually.
I got mad at a check. I got mad at a waiter, and I don't really, you know, I'm not that guy in the sense that, like, I understand. I'm more, you know, like you than you think. But there was a waiter who had the tables that were right up front, and he was fucking, you know, he was talking out loud during the show. He was slamming cups down. Like, you know, I could hear it like twice. I'm like, are you kidding me?
I've seen that on the road, too, or the really loud ones. I don't have your change.
Yeah.
Hey, Mindy, can you bring it down about 8 notches? We all heard that.
Yeah,
I have change. I'll make change for him if you go away now.
Yeah, so I don't have to do it in the middle of this joke.
Why don't you let me settle your whole section? I'll go all through all 8 tables and do their bill.
That's weird because that was the last job I had that was the last real job I had was a restaurant job, service industry job.
And what's weird is that's the only job I have nightmares about. I never dream about stand-up comedy.
You still have nightmares about
waitressing?
Yeah,
that I'm in the smoking section. It's completely full. The non-smoking waiter section, people can't help me because they're not allowed. That's all made up in my head.
Yeah.
They can't go in that section. I'm
like
completely swamped. There's a 2-hour wait. Oh, it goes on and on and on.
And you actively dream that you're not going to get orders out and that somebody sends somebody back.
Yeah, and that I'm at the adding machine and going, you know, I was on the Tonight Show and stuff. I don't understand how I ended up back here, and this is just. I guess it didn't work out. I mean, it's clearly now. It's not a flashback nightmare of then. It's me now.
Yeah.
Like, that's always the bottom thing. If it doesn't work out, what
funny.
are you going to do?
Yeah, it's not a nightmare that's just about, like, you know, not finishing, not graduating. It's like you now not
going back.
Yeah.
Right. And what is the alternative plan?
That's hilarious. So the added horror of the nightmare is that, like, how did I get back here?
Yes, I was on a roll, I thought. I mean, everything was going fine, and I guess it just didn't pan out.
How did Lewis Black become your confidant and moral arbiter?
He is my moral arbiter. I worked with him, when I was 24 at Catch a Rising Star in Chicago, which was so bad. That Catch a Rising Star, it was in the Hyatt.
Yeah.
And when you went to the computer in the Hyatt and pressed in comedy, that club didn't come up. But Zanies did, the Funny Firm did, the Improv did, because I really didn't know where the club was.
Did you move to Chicago?
No, I was living in St. Louis at the time, just living on the road for 10 years. So that's where I met him. And then we went out for a while. And then
you dated Lewis Black?
Yeah, for a long time.
Why didn't I know that?
I
I need to have more comedy gossip.
I guess no one cared. Because nobody cared about Lou, nobody cared about me at the time.
It's weird that as mad as he is on stage, you get off stage with him, he's the sweetest guy in the world. He's
so sweet. Yeah, nothing. Oh, except playing golf, he can turn into that guy.
Oh, I'd love to see Lewis on a golf course doing that guy.
Well, it's as you have said maybe about some of your behavior. His has gotten better over the years, but I mean, I have seen him lose it on a golf. But it's kind of funny because I know...
You play golf?
Yeah. Lou would never be like a really... I've played golf with some guys with tempers where it's almost like, holy shit, like this totally isn't fun anymore.
When you play anything with guys, their tempers where it's like, holy shit, softball, golf.
Lou's is always more like complete disillusionment and frustration. Like
with the world? Yeah,
and he like whipped a 9-iron in Florida. It was a par 3 and the ball went into an empty swimming pool. It bounced and a Doberman ate it. And he's like, how does that even happen? That's never happened in the history of golf. And he whipped the golf club into a swamp that said environmentally protected alligator habitat. And he goes, we're going to get the club. I said, really, Mr. Afraid of a Squirrel? Yeah. We're going to challenge an alligator for a $90 pitching wedge or a 9-hour. I said, you can take the card over there, but I'm not going. I'm going to, Mrs. Hillbilly Midwest, so tough around animals, you're not going to go. No, I'm not. It's $90 goddamn dollars, Lou. We can find a used one probably for $40.
Where is this show? Why is it not on television? Why aren't you two on television together? I pictured all of that.
I couldn't believe it. We're both smoking and yelling at each other.
That's fucking glorious.
I'm like, of all the times you want to get like really manly, you're going to face an alligator.
Why aren't you and Lewis Black on television as a couple?
no one's asked us.
What the fuck is that?
I don't know. We spend an inordinate amount of time together. I'll be in his apartment next Wednesday.
In New York?
Yeah. Because I have to do Joey Behar and all this crap on Thursday.
And
I thought he was leaving, and I have keys to his place, and he has keys to my place here, and we switch.
Now, you're still
but he's
dating.
not leaving.
I mean, where is this at?
No.
Come on.
Lou's too independent. No, you know what's weird, though?
You're both touring comics. What does that mean?
That's the problem. It turned into Barfly minus the violence and gambling. It was just us walking home with bottles of wine and cigarettes and but it was even a good breakup.
But neither one. I don't know what your personal life is like, but I mean, he doesn't drink like he used to.
Well,
I mean that I could tell.
He doesn't drink scotch.
Right.
Let's categorize it. He stopped with the scotch, but no, we will sit around and drink an inordinate amount of wine, and smoke way too many cigarettes. And then I think, well, if he's 18 years older than me and he's still smoking, I can still smoke.
Sure.
That's what's terrible for me being around him.
So he's not that great a moral judgment.
No, it's terrible. It's literally walking into Barfly going, everything's fine. What do you mean?
You guys are so in love.
I do love him, but no, that was why initially we broke up. It's like, what is the point of having this relationship when we don't see each other? And then it's what? Am I going to move to New York? Why? So you can go on the road, and then I'm sitting here doing what? Nothing.
Waiting for you, waiting to yell.
Waiting for you to hit big and we get a better apartment.
Well, he's already done that, so you could...
Right, now he's got the great apartment.
Well, then do it now.
I told him, I said, you're the only comic that I've ever been in love with. I should write a book, How I Fucked My Way to the Bottom. Because I was only with you when you were poor. Now you've got all this money, and you're fancy, and you got a tour bus, and
Does he have a tour bus?
Yeah.
Is it black?
You know, no, it's dark brown, but that's the most fun. Like we ride, if John, his opener, can't go and I'm off, I'll go open for him for fun. Yeah. Just to drive across Canada. But the tour bus, it's awesome. We get on, we turn on the golf, we stop at Cracker Barrel, there's no TSA, we can smoke on the bus because he leased it and said I'm a smoker, they don't care. Yeah. It's the best way to travel ever.
I think that's the show. Lewis and you on a tour bus. Smoking and stopping to play golf.
Until one of us dies
on
air.
It's a battle to the death.
Until one of us, and it will be me. I will have the stroke, and then he won't want to deal with the rehab, and he'll just put me in some place. We have agreed, though, to go into assisted living together.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes, that's what we've
only if it
to.
happens at the same time, that you need it at the same time?
Well, we figure it will.
Do you have family that would take care of you?
He's way healthier, and his parents are 92, and they're fine.
Oh, so he's got the genes.
He's got the good Russian Jewish genes.
Yeah.
The good Jew genes.
And you got the faulty Irish?
I got the stroke at 72 and you're out Irish genes.
That's it? Done?
Yeah, nobody even stays around long enough for cancer or anything like that. It's just a big bam, and you're out. Yeah, and not even like a stroke you can rehab from.
Right, you're just kind of, you're dumb for an hour and that's it?
Yep,
oh, really?
You're gone. You are gone.
I guess there's something to be said for that.
I'm okay with that.
It's a gift.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Your parents still alive or they're not?
Yeah, they're alive. They're fine. They're 70, but they're not fine.
So
they're not like his parents.
Right.
They're not fine. Yeah. You know, they've had so much cancer lopped off of them. They're like Monty Python characters. Like we just keep lopping more. My dad's got like a divot in his arm. That's gone. My mom had breast cancer. We just keep lopping things off and then they're fine for like a year and then something else comes up, but they drank and smoked forever.
Yeah.
I mean, my dad, not so much a drinker. My mom really
boozed it up.
Oh, she officially has been put on the bench. She hasn't drank in 15 years.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Out of the game, Madigan.
And you hate to lose somebody on the team. Yeah. As an Irish Catholic family, you want to go, can't you just moderate? Can't you get a handle on it? You hate to see somebody get off the team.
Now we all got to feel guilty.
Now we all got to feel weird about the fact we had 2 bottles of wine and you're not having any. And
so you used to drink with your folks?
Well, no, I was too little. I mean, I wasn't drinking with them, but no. She's been on the bench for a good bench player for 20 years.
Yeah. Like just cold turkey on the bench? Or AA on the bench?
No. AA on the bench, psych ward, you name it. Vicky Madigan,
full ride?
She sent me a birthday card on my 40th birthday, and she goes, happy birthday, enjoy your 40s. I don't remember mine, but from what your father says, I was a terror. Love, Mom. Like, we can actually totally joke about it and stuff, but it was she's half German, so it can... You don't, I mean, you get the alcohol on her. And I'm like, why can't you just be a fun drunk like Uncle Jim and Uncle Neil? They're just funny.
Yeah.
Why the anger?
Yeah.
What's going on, crazy German?
Yeah.
German side's coming out. Barking out orders.
But when you were a kid, she was sober already?
Mm-mm.
So you remember that bullshit?
Sober till 10.
Like
then
this
drunk
sort of
from 10 to 20.
The insanity of it? You remember?
Oh, yeah. Crazy. Off the hook crazy. And my dad would go, she's just sad. She's just sad. It was so Irish Catholic. Like, we're not going to talk about this. We're going to act like it's not happening. I'm like, she drove the truck through the garage door, Dad.
Yeah.
Just because you're sad, you don't do that.
Yeah.
Something else is going on. I'm just saying something else. Well, that was an issue. I don't know. Maybe it's the brakes on the truck. Denial.
Maybe it's the brakes on the
he really is. I'll have to check out that truck. Okay, Dad. Okay,
But
Jack.
was it like to the point where you couldn't bring friends over? Really?
Oh, yeah. There was none of that. It's like, no, you don't want to meet my mom. Not after 2 p.m. Maybe you might want to meet her at 10. I'd say she's got a good 3-hour window where everything's kind of in focus. But after that, no.
Oh, boy. And you never wanted to stop drinking?
No, like, I've never gone into the area where I woke up and I felt bad after gambling, drinking. Where I
What's
lost
this gambling thing?
of
I didn't
money.
realize you played poker professionally or no?
No, I don't play poker with people. Video poker. I'm an addict.
You're an addict to video poker.
Totally.
Do you have a machine
Only
in your
when
house?
I'm around it.
Do you play online?
No, because that's not for money, really. That's all. I don't believe any of that.
No, okay. You just go to casinos, like
if I have a casino gig,
yeah,
that's when it can get crazy. Lou too, but Lou's still so conservative. Like I did a gig with him at Agua Caliente in Palm Springs, and he gets 4 aces. Now that should pay $800. Well, he only had 3 bet. And I'm like, you're a millionaire. I am not. I am playing. You have to play the max. So he goes, well, I like my machine to get warmed up, and it doesn't really do magical things till I've warmed it up. I'm like, why are you waiting? What are you waiting on? You're a millionaire.
No. Where's the show?
No, the show should be the enabler.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it should come on before intervention. Where he tries to trick people into drinking more and that smoking's okay, and then I try to get him to gamble and go, come on, what's life all about if you're not really playing max? Gotta play it all.
That's what you say. Push it. Push the
Yeah,
envelope.
come on, live large. There's only 70 years here. What are you waiting on?
Do you leave gigs with no money because of video poker?
I have. I left a gig. One time I did, a long time ago. Remember when Laughlin there was an improv in the summers, but only in the summers in Laughlin they would make this room into an improv. It was very creepy.
Improv never used me, so I don't know.
This was a rogue.
Not complaining.
This was a rogue improv.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this wasn't part of the normal
Right.
chain. This was like a combo, I think, between Bud Friedman and Sandy Hackett. It was definitely rogue.
Sandy, I haven't heard that name in a
Bud
long time.
Hackett, yeah.
But Buddy Hackett's son.
Yes.
So they had I kind of remember this.
He's still got rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loved his
sidetrack
father. Yeah.
after this to Sammy Shore, the weirdest call last week I ever got in my
Oh,
life.
no shit. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
very
I'll
strange.
remember. So
but
we're back
Laughlin, I lost so much money, and I probably was only making $1,500 for the week, and I lost so much that I was like in gambling prison. I had to walk from my room to the showroom without going through the casino, and I didn't have an ATM card. There was no money left to be gotten.
Yeah.
I had to eat in the employee cafeteria because I didn't have any money.
Oh, those gigs are the worst.
It was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad.
The employee cafeteria.
Yes. Everything off the buffet that's been sitting there 8 hours.
You know how many? Do you really ever think about how much time we spend sitting in kitchens or walking through kitchens in show business? It's sort of weird.
It's kind of weird.
And you really are closer to that job than you are to whatever you're performing for.
But that's why I think it's good to have waited tables beforehand, because it doesn't seem any different.
No, I
it's
love the
not like
kitchen.
we were executives at IBM where someone was ordering lunch out.
I like
it was we have chin-chins for lunch. No, we don't. No, we don't. You're going to eat whatever they let you have off the employee menu.
I like it when I can go to a club where they'll actually let me pick at food in the back, or like,
Yeah,
they
they
can
hand
just
you
throw me
a
little something
a
where
menu.
where I can compulsively eat by the line area.
Correct.
Yeah, that I like. And that's hard to come
Zany's
by.
in Nashville. Pick it up.
I have to go back to Zany's. I've not done Zany's. So let's go back. So you lose all your money. You have this
Well,
gambling
that was
problem.
Laughlin, but literally last week, this is like where you're like, really? I know better than to answer hotel phones. Why would anyone be calling me on a hotel phone? Everyone has my cell phone that I like or care about.
Yeah.
If that hotel phone rings, it's either some crazy fan because I forgot to change my name, or it's some work thing that I don't want to have anything to do with.
Mm-hmm.
And you can always just say, oh, I don't. And my mom and dad had come, so I thought, well, maybe it's them. Like,
Right.
maybe, and I pick it up. Hey, sweetheart, how you doing? I was like, I'm fine. I don't know who this
Who
is. He
is
goes, this is Sammy Shore. You know who I am, don't you? And
Who
I go,
doesn't?
And I go, yeah. I was really actually taking a nap. I go, right. You're Paulie's dad, right? Yeah. I got a show out here. I don't know if you're going to stay in town till next Saturday. Okay, what comic would stay in town
For a
an
week?
entire week? I'm like, He's like, it's a show with dogs. Does this sound
No, I don't know anything about
familiar?
it. No.
It's like celebrities and all the big names in town come through. Everybody does it. And I go, Sammy, I'm going to be in South Carolina next Saturday night. Oh, okay, sweetheart. Well, you have a good show. And
that was it?
I thought, this town is so bizarre.
Where was this? Was it in
Vegas? Last Saturday. Yeah.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
I can't.
I don't know what
time.
he's really doing, but then I meant to go home and Google because I'm curious.
Did you find out? Oh, you
no,
didn't do
I
it?
forgot. Like, what the hell is Sammy Shore?
For those people who don't know, Sammy Shore was Mitzi Shore's husband, Pauly Shore's father, who in the divorce, I guess, kind of lost the Comedy Store. I don't want to misquote anything, but
yeah, I don't understand.
I think
what happened
they were
either.
married, and he's still a comic,
and he's still doing something in Las Vegas
with dogs.
With dogs, and
he mentioned dogs.
Yes, dogs were definitely. I know I was napping, but I definitely heard dogs. And I was like, I don't have a dog.
I'm curious about this. I'm going to pitch this because I've just decided it's my idea.
Okay.
Look, I got an idea. It's sort of like the Honeymooners. I'm pitching it to any executives listening, but it's got to be Kathleen Madigan, Lewis Black. But it's like the Honeymooners, and it's a reality show. What do you think?
He would not. He's not going to agree to have a camera follow us around all day. Well, maybe if
it would ruin the relationship.
No, it wouldn't.
All right, let's say
we would ruin their lives.
That is what they want.
The cameramen would quit.
They want that.
Everyone would have secondhand cancer.
Now I want to interview the two of you together.
That's
idea.
fun. I mean, yeah, this has been a 20-year relationship of craziness. He really is my best friend. I mean, and I do feel like if I have work problems, I can call him because he's been through everything and then some. And when I first met him, like, I was on Letterman and all that stuff, and he wasn't. And then it was awesome that
he finally happened for him.
Yeah, and happened big. It didn't just happen
because he was
small.
one of those guys that, like, literally, hit a wall and kind of pulled out. He's always been doing Lewis Black. But
correct.
And then he said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna take residence at the the West
Bank.
The West Bank, the West Bank, and do what I do, write plays, do stand up, and then John, Stewart pulled him out of anonymity to a certain degree.
Yep.
And made him what he is.
Because he didn't start like a road comic. Like, he started in the West Bank too, and then started in New York, but versus if you took the Midwest versions of me that just ran around and did every club that you could drive to and all that. So every club didn't know him, and then it's like, well, how does he get in the loop if he's not in the loop, and he's a New York guy? It was just all very convoluted.
Yeah, he was always one sort of just outside of legit stand-up in a way.
Correct.
He was always a legitimate stand-up.
A legitimate stand-up, but not within the circles we're all
running in.
running
He was writing plays.
Yeah,
and,
he did other things.
Yeah,
we didn't really understand what happened.
He was an artist.
Yeah, he's a hippie. He's a hippie guy.
But now, do you have any regrets about how you handled your career?
No.
In the sense that, because I'm certainly not comparing you, but I've been talking to a lot of comics. One loudmouth, bitter one recently that I don't even want to drag into this conversation and not make it cancerous, but because it would ruin it. But there are some people I talk to that think they spend too much time on the road.
No.
No.
I don't even think that's possible.
Mm-hmm.
All the road can do is make you better. I mean, I think if you get pigeonholed into, like, I call it the alcoholic southeast corner. There's like 5 southern comics where they just drive around in circles, but they're drunks, right? And they tell bar stories.
So they think they're just getting there for the first time every time?
They just go to the next town for $1,500 cash and spend it.
Did you play that Southern Circuit a lot? Because you did.
Yeah.
And you sort of, do you feel like you're Southern?
No.
Midwestern?
I feel Midwesty. I mean, I feel like we're no man's land, boring Midwesty. Missouri's not. I mean, really, even in the Civil War, we were half and half and just fought each other and never even left our own state because we're just that retarded. Like, we couldn't even commit to what we were as a state.
Yeah.
Like, the southern part of Missouri is southern, but St. Louis is more like Chicago. Like, no. But I feel comfortable in the South. Like, I didn't feel like, oh my God, if I was from I don't know where this feels like a foreign nation. I could see how it could, but it didn't to me.
So, but in terms of like coming up in the South, so you came up with people like Ron White and Engvall.
Brett Butler was headlining.
God, I haven't talked to her in so long. Do you talk to her?
Nobody has. I don't know what happened.
I'd love to talk to her. I haven't thought about her.
I think it would be awesome too because I always ask on the road.
She's in Georgia, right?
Anybody seen Brett? I don't know. I think she has a place out here and there. I don't. I really, truly have not.
I gotta fucking track her
down.
down.
Ron hasn't heard from her. I mean, all of our.
You talk to Ron
all the time.
Would you tell him that I want him to do the show, please?
I'll tell him. Yeah, I talk to him all the time.
Because like I when I see him, we were in Aspen together, so we had this weird bond. We were on this weird show. not in Aspen, in Montreal a few years back. It was their idea, the veteran show. Like, it was like not new faces. It was like, hey, they're still around show.
Right.
And me and Ron were on it.
People that haven't gotten a deal.
Right.
We still think they're kind of funny. We don't get
That's
it.
right. Here, we'll make that later. But we both got deals out of that, and neither one of our shows went. But obviously, he's gone on to he's Ron White, and I fucking love that guy. And the last time I saw him was at the bar and at the Improv, and he was going through another divorce. Or the last one.
He had the funniest line.
But he's so chipper about it. He's like, well, I'm going to lose everything every few years. Half of what I got every few years. That's just the way it's going to go. And
he's another golf buddy of mine. And we were golfing, this was like maybe 2 years ago, and he's getting divorced, and he's talking to these lawyers on the phone while we're golfing. And I said, can you just turn that off for like 18 holes? Can we not? Because he was getting so angry, right? But within the anger, there's always funny. And he's on the phone with the lawyer. He goes, really? $5 million? $5 million? Why don't you tell her my first wife got a dryer? Fuck her. Tell her a dryer. I'm not even sure it worked. And he throws the phone on the fairway, and he almost drives over the phone. And I'm like, oh, this is awful. Stop.
You hang around with all these very charismatic, angry but beautifully funny guys. Do you have a relationship in your life?
Not right. I can't. I'm gone too long. And then I even thought about it, like, especially this Christmas, because I have a place by my parents' place at the lake, but I have 6 siblings.
In St. Louis?
No, it's 3 hours away by a lake. Mm-hmm. And my sister goes, well, you have to stay at Mom and Dad's in the basement because you're single. And we need your place because we've got the kids. And it did make more sense.
Right.
But then I thought, I'm laying in the basement, and I can hear my parents up at 6 o'clock. Well, we got hardwood floors. And I thought, why am I penalized?
Yeah.
Because I'm busy. Because I'm single. Because I didn't bring anybody home to you nutbags. Like, I mean, the only person I could really see living with and being married to is Lou. Yeah. Really. Like, Ron, I can't. It's starting
to hurt my heart that we're not, that you're not with Lou.
Ron, it's too much. I can't.
I mean, Ron, but.
Yeah. Maddie, I'd marry you tomorrow, Maddie, if you say yes. Really? No.
It would ruin everything.
Yeah.
It would probably ruin everything. You think it would ruin it with Lou if you actually, decided to?
No. I don't think we're too old to care anymore. It would just be fine.
God, this is the show!
It would be some open relationship where, who'd you go out with this weekend?
Would it? Would it?
Well, here's what's weird. Like,
Come on
I meet
now.
his old girlfriend. I meet people that he's liked on the road, and then I end up texting them more than him. Hi, it's so-and-so from Wisconsin. Had so much fun at your show. Call me when you get here. And then I end up, go to the town. I'm like, I'm going out drinking with so-and-so.
Well, I had Jackie Cation in here. Do you know her?
I know Jackie, yeah.
She's great.
I did her podcast, too. It was very fun at her house.
Yeah, she's funny. But do you find, because and I don't want to, draw lines. Everyone's a comedian, professional comedian's a comedian, but you are a woman. And do you find, I know how guys act. You know how guys act. Do you find yourself in similar trouble? Because she talks about this once-a-year thing that she used to do where she'd find herself drunk and fucking some guy in the road.
What? I couldn't even say once a year. If it wasn't. It had nothing to do with comedy.
Yeah.
Like, one time I do remember there was a man in the bar in Phoenix, and the only reason I even spoke to him was because he said he was in charge of Nielsen boxes, and I've waited my whole life to meet somebody who knew about that, because I'm like, are you kidding me? How do they pick? Yeah. Why does my dorky brother Kurt have one? Yeah. Like, really, he's the only person I've ever known is my older brother Kurt, who's such a dork. Like, he only watches sci-fi and crap. So I get in this long conversation and then end up having a one-night stand with the Nielsen box guy.
Really?
Who, I never want to see again as long as I live.
And how did he rate it?
Thank God I didn't give my email.
Was the TV on while it was happening so you could...
Right. Could you make this hotel a box for now so I could click on a friend's show and give it a credit? I also think, too, though, as a woman on the road, I would think twice. I watch way too much of serial killer stuff and stuff.
Really? That happens?
Yeah.
Really?
To think, I just...
Strangers.
To go to a stranger to their apartment when you don't know anybody that knows them. Like, a hotel is different. I could yell and scream, probably.
Right, maybe.
Probably.
Yeah,
you could still get murdered.
Sure.
The Craigslist lady didn't make it out.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people that don't make it out.
You've really thought this through.
Because I'm like, see, she didn't make it out. And then I realized, you know what the other trick is? Have a suitcase littler than your body. Because they take the body out in your suitcase and wheel it right out.
Well,
so now my suitcase is the size of a purse. There's no way you can chop me up and fit me in there.
We are all about carry-on anyway. So unless they're going to carry half of you on the plane the next day.
Well, the one carry-on, I think you could probably squish me in. Because I've given it, I'm like, if I could climb inside that, that's bad. That's bad. If you could shove my head down, if I do enough yoga, I could get in the right position.
But also you have, it seems like you have a really kind of like decent, deep friendship with a lot of guys.
Most of my friends,
and you get a lot of respect in the community too. I mean, you're like one of the most highly respected comedians working.
Well, that's nice to hear. I think it's because I didn't quit. 99% of the women quit.
Women.
Yeah. That's why there's no women. Lou and I were trying to bust our brains out for somebody else for his cruise. And he goes, well, we like a woman, but at your level. And I said, besides Wanda, who did it right. Like
Caroline.
Wanda did the road. Caroline did the road. I mean, we came up with like 5 names.
Yeah, who are they? So there's Wanda, there's Caroline.
I'd say Judy Gold, but Judy jumps off the road sometimes and does,
theater
shows
things. Yeah,
and
but
theater
even
things.
Wanda, I mean, Wanda started way after you. I mean, I remember when Wanda started, and I was halfway in. I mean, she's got to be maybe 15. I mean,
15 years in.
Yeah. I mean, maybe.
But I'm saying who can do a solid hour?
Oh, like that. So you're saying who can do the job?
Who can really do an hour?
What about Maria, Jackie?
I always say Maria. I say Jackie.
Tig is also great right now.
Yeah.
But so why is that? Why? I mean, and I've asked this of other women, but I've not talked to a woman who's been doing it as long as you and has a career that you have. But it is interesting because you hear that a lot from people. Like people want me to have women on, or they ask, well, how come there's not more women? And then the answer usually comes around like there was a period where women got sort of characterized as talking about their periods or talking, which I always thought was bullshit.
But you know what though? Yeah, but no, there was a chunk. It was almost when I started, where it was Jenny Jones, and then it was just girls' night on
Hooper.
Monday. Diane Ford did a lot of the shopping, buying me jewelry.
I remember her. What happened to her?
She's fine. She's in Florida. She married a nice guy who I actually like. She's fine and does cruise ships every now and again, but just kind of.
I've forgotten about her entirely.
They're fine.
Yeah.
There was just a group of women at the time that were very.
Carrie Snow was great.
Yeah. I mean, there were also the antithesis of them existed at the same time, but everybody focused on that group. The Jenny Jones, where she'd say, Monday night at the Funny Bone is girls' night, and there could be no guys working, and it's a slumber party for women.
That was the angle they took.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, now it's like if the black comics want to it's Def Jam night, and it's only black people night, and now you've pigeoned yourself into... Now everybody... I remember a time when everybody thought every black comic was Def Jam.
Yeah.
And God forbid for the guys that weren't, it was just a drag for them.
Right. So you're saying that girls' comedy got pigeonholed by women who in a marketing angle, created the girls' night out comedy show.
I think they did, yeah.
And that's what it sort of became known as. Huh.
Yeah. And then the other problem is there's so many that quit because they get sick of the road. They just get tired of the crap. You're living in a condo with 2 guys every week. It is kind of gross. But I mean, I had 4 brothers. I don't even care.
But
I don't even notice.
But I think that's a real interesting thing in terms of women in society is that, like, I know that it's a fact that if a woman is on a career trajectory and there's enough fear about her future, she's going to say, well, I can still get a guy with this, with what I have. Like, I can still lock onto somebody and have some sense of security.
Or not even that. They'll quit to take a writing job. And I can understand.
Yeah, but that's a good career if you hang in. I mean, yeah. No?
It's harder, I think.
I could never write for somebody else. I can barely keep my own shit together. I mean, I know that about myself. But if a young comic says to me, I'm getting into comedy, up to maybe a few years ago, I'd sort of be comic about it. But now I'm like, well, if you're going to do it, make sure you know that there's a broader spectrum of things you can do with that talent.
There are.
Because how many people can be you? I mean, seriously, how many people are working comics at any one time?
Well,
and making a living.
And where each year it gets better, and each year it becomes, it's not many, but I would also argue that half of the reason of that is I can tell you so many funny people that have taken the writing route. And that, to me, is a dog-eat-dog, harder world, less fair. Comedy's pretty fair.
No, that's right. But still, if they get into the loop and they ride it out for a little while, they get health care coverage, they get a steady paycheck.
I see the attraction. And as a woman, you go, you know what? Maybe I could have a relationship. Maybe I could have a pet. Maybe I could have a normal life.
A baby even.
A kid? Yeah. Right, God forbid. And I'm so glad that never entered my mind.
Why do you think it never did?
I think because there were 7 kids in my family. And it was just insanity. And it was just then when my mom went off the rails, I had to help raise my younger brother and sister. So I got what it's about.
Well, it's
good
signing
permission slips. Can I have a ride? Will you take me to Susie's? I don't have a ride. Yeah. I mean, it became.
You already did it.
I get the gig. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. I'm glad that you chose the sort of looser, kind of fun, alcoholic mode of honoring the family legacy as opposed to the weird control freak, codependent thing.
Right. None of that. A little bit of a control freak.
Oh, yeah.
Only about work and stuff, yeah. Because I'm always convinced. I did this by myself for 10 years.
Yeah.
You people should be 20 steps ahead of me. Not even with me. Agents, managers, you should be ahead of me.
Right. No, that's a ridiculous request of an agent at
right.
this juncture in history.
I finally have one that is.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
I finally have a manager that it's almost to the point where I'm like, what? Okay. I'm trying to get it done.
It's taken me 23 years, but I finally have the team in place where everybody's doing their job and then some. And doing a good job.
Well, there's sort of a rebirth of comedy audience now, too, I think. That they're definitely out there again in a big way. Do you find that? Or are they still your people? Are you bringing in new people?
I'm bringing in new people, but that's also because I keep doing weird new things where I access. I know this sounds crazy, but sometimes I do funny things on Dr. Phil. I'm the funny lady.
Oh, you've got that gig? Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so it's very strange. The whole thing is it's very much like a weird dream if you took Quaaludes or something where I'm in an Ann Taylor business suit, but I'm funny, but this is inappropriate. Why am I on Dr. Phil? None of it even makes sense. But that group of people, they are like, well, who's this lady? Last Comic Standing was the prime time people that never watched late night.
I remember when you did that, there was that was sort of, it struck me. Then you started to realize that Last Comic Standing, could actually be seen as some sort of business opportunity. And I don't know how you felt about that experience, but I was a little sad that you did it.
Well, I was a little sad that I did too. But the good end of it, what's really sad is after our season, they did have the opportunity to take it up even a further notch. Mm-hmm. But, they switch network people, producer people, and then the whole thing goes in backwards.
But who did someone talk you into that, or did you think it would be a good opportunity because you were so above that?
Both. No, because I wasn't. The year before, if you I have respect for Rich Voss. There were people on season 1 where I was like, Rich is a real comic. No matter what anybody wants to think about his comedy per se, he's been doing it 20 years.
No, definitely.
And I thought, okay. And then the group I was with, I love Todd Glass.
Yeah,
I've been
friends.
He's been on a million shows.
Yeah.
Heffron had already been on The Tonight Show a million times. I was in a group where I thought, these are legitimate headliners.
Yeah.
Whether anybody thinks they're funny or not, they're legitimate. Mm-hmm. And maybe the good end of it was I did read, it was doublefold. You have to... People have to say, I think I'm funnier than Mark, and then that's what makes you perform. Well, nobody ever challenged me, so I never even performed on the show. Yet people were like, I liked you because you were the normal lady, and you were this whole group of people, they're like, I've never even heard of you before. I'm like, are you kidding? I'd done The Tonight Show 8 times.
Yeah, right. No,
so every time I got nervous, it was for nothing. No one was even watching.
Well, no, but that's not true.
People were watching.
I've had a battle with that myself. Is that how did I go unnoticed for so long? I mean, this podcast, all of a sudden, I never knew who you were. And you think, how's that possible? I did Conan 44 times. I've been on Letterman 4 times.
I know.
A half-hour special. Is that
and nothing?
Well, I don't know what makes something congeal in someone's mind. I mean, it's not that we weren't doing good comedy or that you weren't doing good comedy. It's just that I always used to blame myself, and I'm sure as a Catholic you did as well, is that they're not noticing. America doesn't notice me. And it's really just, you cannot determine what joke or what moment or when you will become a whole person to that.
Well, I don't even think there is a moment anymore. I think there used to be when Johnny Carson and there were 3 channels and 2/3 of the country was watching one channel every night. I think if you went on and killed the next day, you were a household name. Now there's 500 channels. There's Sirius Radio. There's podcasts. You have to go do, like when Lou wrote his last book, and I just have this DVD and CD out, the amount of press that I have to do, I spend more time promoting myself than being myself.
Right. Well, you're right, and I think that has something to do with the lack of intimacy of the media landscape. Now it's all on us.
There's no way to reach everybody.
Sure. What are you going to rely on a club? I made that mistake for a long time. So the club will put it in the paper. Who the fuck reads the paper? And now I spend,
I know.
Now I spend
It's like, really? The paper? I mean, so you think my parents are coming after they do the bridge section and read the obituaries?
Yeah.
They're not coming.
I don't know why it took me so long to realize that. But now you're doing Dr. Phil and you're doing Joy's show. And
weird stuff. Joy Behar reaches a different group of people.
But look at you now. You've got wisdom. You've got experience. You can talk about anything in a comedic way. I mean, you are, they need us. I mean, they need that.
They do, but I don't think enough of them think that. Like, I even think, like, Lou did Olbermann a few times, and Olbermann, well, more than a few.
It's hard to shine in that spot.
It's awkward, and Lou would be like, did you TiVo, what'd you think? And I was like, I can't watch you as my best friend on that, because he doesn't really get it, and he kind of steps on weird stuff. I know. But, like, those types of shows, if they added a little more humor, even, I don't know what goes on Fox, but even on that, or on... They could use us more than they do. I think Dr. Phil was smart. He's like, every once in a while, I just want Friday to be kind of silly. I don't want it to be so uptight.
Yeah.
I've done it with Ron White. I've done it by myself a bunch of times. He heard me on Sirius Radio. That's how he found me. I mean, it was just odd.
Yeah.
The whole thing's very odd. And
so you've seen a career resurgence in the last 5 years, in a way. Bonnie Hunt, believe it or not, it's canceled now. But I went down there thinking that was just kind of a throwaway. Yeah.
Like, I didn't even go the night before and run a set.
Right.
I just thought, I'll do those jokes about my parents. I'll put on some pants and I'll be fine. And I like her.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, I don't care. Oh, my God. I mean, the amount of Facebook and email from that compared to, say, Ferguson, which I just did. I really like Craig Ferguson.
Was he there when you did it?
He was there. Yes,
but
I said hi and bye. Yeah,
isn't that weird?
It's very odd. But
I looked so weird after the end of that set because he's not there. No one comes up to you. There was this moment where I literally did this weird thing where I put my hands on my hips. I went. I stood there.
I saluted.
Yeah, you did?
No, I'm kidding.
It's awkward. It's like no one's gonna walk me off. I just
nope. You're on your own. And the show's actually over right now, too, by the way. Not only are you done, but the whole show, and the audience doesn't know what to do.
But the audience is pretty great. There's like 12 of them, and they're on fire.
I said to Lou, I go, if you could, because Lou kept saying, because I hadn't done Ferguson, I had done the rest of them, but I hadn't done that. And he's like, oh, no, you'll have a great time. If you would have given those people a beer and a cigarette, that would have been Downtown Zanies.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, they're so compact.
And they're
the
hot.
ceilings are so low, and they're on fire.
I know. I couldn't believe it. They were laughing at things where there should have been laughs, but had never really gotten that big a laugh. I'm like, oh, my God. Like, in my set, I was literally like, I don't believe you guys. Like, you were laughing too hard, and then, like, when I got a laugh on a weird thing that usually only gets a little laugh, I'm like, okay, I believe you now. I believe you.
Yeah, that was a hot... Because I just did Leno like 2 Mondays ago.
What do you think of him?
And ever since this late night fight occurred.
Yeah,
I'm going back to my Midwest Irish Catholic. I got to be loyal to who was loyal to me. The man has put me on 14 times.
Yeah,
and every time I see him, he's talked to my dad on the phone. Now what went down with the late night thing? I really
I mean, just in general. I mean, like,
here's in general, I think he's a workaholic, which is something I am not familiar with. I love to work, but if you also told me, hey, Kathleen, you've got millions of dollars, you can take the month off and go to Maui and take your...
I take the life off.
Well, right, yeah, me too. Like, I don't have that kind of thing going on. Like, but I want to spend time with my nieces, blah, blah, blah. You know, I would go with Lou to go golf in Myrtle Beach for 2 weeks, whatever.
Oh,
Leno's just work.
Kath and Lou. The show.
He's all work. Yeah. I don't get that. I don't have that in common with him. Because one time he goes, honey, where you been? I go, well, I did this festival in Ireland, and then I just stayed for a week to drink and stuff. He's like, yeah, every night you're not performing. somebody else is out there performing. You can't take all that time off. He goes, I have a pool. I haven't been in it 3 years. I go, well, I would love to go in your pool. He's like, well, just tell Mavis. And when you come, I'm like, I'm not really going to do that, Jay. Like, you're going to come home from work and just be floating around with a Bud Light on a raft. Yeah. Sunblack 85.
Someone's
How you doing?
Using the pool.
Hi. I'm like, no.
Do you guys socialize off the show? I mean, are you guys friends or?
He's all he does is work. Like, I don't know how you would. I don't like cars per se.
Right.
Like, so I think maybe if you were into cars, he'd probably go to a thing with you.
I think there's something to be said for loyalty. I mean, and they don't like it doesn't always come back on the other side. But I have felt that way. I was very loyal to Conan. I only did Conan's show because he put me on 4 times a year on the old show, and I was loyal to Letterman. I didn't really watch Jay Leno that much, and I just didn't try to get on the show at all, or Ferguson.
And sometimes it becomes tiring. There's so few things in my career that I thought that's
I just did Ferguson for the first time recently.
That was the first time I did it too.
Yeah.
There's so few things in my career that I go, wow, that was pretty cool. That I was proud of myself for figuring out. But for a while there, I was doing Letterman and Leno, and there weren't that many comics that could do either or both, because you kind of got pigeonholed.
But they don't care. I mean, I didn't find that they cared.
No, but I think the bookers were pigeonholing.
Right. They made the decision.
Like, Lou was too crazy for Leno. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, this guy's yelling and screaming and off the hook, and it's too much. And then I always thought, well, the Leno people are going to say I'm not quirky or strange enough, which I'm not. I mean, I'm not alternative. I'm not weird, but I'm funny. And then I forget. It was before Eddie was booking it. Maybe Eddie also. But I did, and then finally, like, I think I could still do Letterman. It's just I'm not in New York, and I don't feel like I cannot go make you a tape tonight. I just can't. I don't have the energy. I'm off one night.
Yeah,
you know, I can't do that whole, like, if you're a younger comic.
Eddie asked you for a tape?
Well, the Tonight Show, the Leno didn't, but I think Eddie, just because he wants to know what are you going to be doing.
Right.
Like, I don't think he's going to sit there and judge it and decide I'm not funny. It's just about what are you going to do.
It's weird for me, like right now, because with that stuff, the thing is like back in the day, people would say, well, you know, did you sell a lot more tickets because of Letterman or this or that? And it's like now it's not about that. It's just part of our job to go do comedy on a network talk show or to do panel. It's a very specific thing, and I like doing that. But it doesn't yield anything other than the pride of doing it.
It doesn't yield. Although Leno a couple weeks ago, the DVD and the CD spiked
because he pushed it.
I couldn't believe the amount of. It was already running high, but it went bam.
I did the new Conan like a week and a half ago, and he really got behind the podcast, and it blew up. It makes a difference. But
it does.
Sure, it does.
And I don't know how many of those people it's long term. Who knows?
The new Conan's great. You should do it.
And I haven't even seen it. I haven't TiVo'd it. I think my friend Laurie Kilmartin's writing on it.
Yeah, she's great. Oh, she's great.
She's funny. And,
she's so funny.
And I did him too. I liked Conan too, but I was always in L.A. Those are the New York guys.
Yeah.
So they would go down. It's so much easier if you're in New York to go down and do a set in front of, I think it was Frank and Conan. And,
Frank Smiley and Paula,
to go do a set in front of them rather than, okay, Kathleen, make a tape at the Comedy Magic Club and send us a DVD.
Well, now what they want you to do is like you should get to a point where you're established enough to where they're just sort of like, what's
would you
the set?
Come on? Right. Can we just do this over the phone? I don't mind.
Yeah,
I'll tell you.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
type
so much
it
easier.
out. I'll actually type it out.
That's what they want now. So they want you to type it out, which is sort of weird because I never type out anything.
It's very odd. And then I
realized
you want
to add stuff?
Then I realized, then I want to subtract. I'm I am so wordy.
Yeah.
Kathleen, half of this is unnecessary because I'm repeating things in the premise that it does. Although it does make your act tighter, I think, if you're forced to do that.
Oh yeah, because you realize like I never write this shit down.
Yeah,
and then you find a new thing. It's like I wonder if I could add that. But then you realize that the difference, because do you write on stage? Is that how you do it?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, me too.
I don't.
And the difference between seeing what you say written down is that when you start to trim it and make it more joke-like, and then you try to add the stuff you wrote down, no, because it's like it's not how you talk.
That's right.
And
then sometimes it's horrifying to read and go, this really isn't funny at all.
Oh no, well,
no, I mean like in print.
Yeah.
This doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
It's like how I'm saying it somehow magically is making these people laugh.
We're against writing our jokes.
Yeah, no, I don't write. And I've only written for two other I've only written for Gary Shandling and Lewis. Like I won't. Like Shandling's voice is so specific.
Yeah.
And I like to be able to go, okay, there's a lot of jokes I would never do in my act, but I could make them work for him.
How'd you do that? So he just bought jokes from you? It was a joke
No.
for a
He
joke?
saw me at the Comedy Magic Club, and he's like, I have to do the Emmys like in 3 weeks, and I want you to help me. I thought he was kidding. Like, he didn't know me from the Man in the Moon. He's like, can you just come down here every night? And I didn't know if I was getting paid, but I love him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I am off for the next 2 weeks. I'll be here every night, and we'll work on this. And then, I mean, he surprised me with a nice gift present.
He's
sweet.
great. Yeah,
he's great.
I just met him, and I want him to do it because he's going through like a spiritual sort of awakening right now.
Really?
Around sort of Buddhism and stuff, and trying to work this spiritual path thing, and he's really kind of a Buddha-like presence in his own weird way. He's such an interesting guy to me.
I always try to get him like, can't you come do an hour on HBO? Because that's the age group they like. You know, I mean, unless you're a rock star like Chris Rock or something, they like the Robin Williams. They have that age group, and I'm like, it's such a waste.
Yeah.
He'll go down
if you don't do it, Robert Klein's going to do another one. Help us.
Like, he'll go down to Comedy Magic Club and do 20 minutes. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, why can you stop playing basketball in Malibu? And
so what do you have? Do you want to? I don't know when we'll put this up, but we could certainly plug something in a general way. DVDs, CDs.
DVD, CD.
Where did they go?
I'm trying to Amazon, iTunes, and then the special. It's been on Showtime, and then it's going to go to CMT on March 7th, and it'll be